Thanks for joining us. So before the break, we learned the details of Patty's attack, with more signs pointing to her murder being personal. She had not been sexually assaulted, but there was still a lot of anger behind whoever did this to her. She had been hit in the head on her right temple, and ultimately the cause of death was manual strangulation, with that being so violent that there were scratches and punctures on her neck left from the murderer's fingernails.
Yeah, and I imagine, I'm guessing there must have been some signs of a struggle on her hands or too, that maybe I was curious thinking back when they interviewed the ex. I feel like I'm wondering if she would have had time to struggle or dig her fingernails into somebody at some point during the assault, and they would have maybe noticed scratches or something on him just to further maybe his innocence or something to be looking for in a potential suspect.
Well, he wouldn't have any, because he wasn't the guy, but yeah. So
right.
Of course, he would be completely void of them, but they also didn't show any defensive wounds or anything like that from
she may not even have had a chance to defend herself.
And it didn't look like it was, a surprise attack because she had been strangled from the front.
Right.
So,
and given that, it led me to think, well, gosh, I wonder if she fought back. If it was an attack from the front, seems possible, but maybe not.
Yeah, well, we'll find out more. So don't jump to conclusions there.
No.
And so investigators had talked with Patty's friends and as well, and they, of course, said the same thing that her family had. Right? She was, relayed the same issues with her ex-husband, all of those details, right? How kind she was a mother first, all of these things. But they also shared that Patty had been dating a couple of different people at the time. And one person stood out to them more than others. Patty had been spending time with 25-year-old Terry Batiste. Terry was recently separated from his wife and moved approximately 100 miles away. So he and Patty didn't spend a lot of time together, only when he was in town. Terry's estranged wife, along with his 5 children, lived near Patty within that same complex.
Whoa, 5 kids at 25?
Yeah.
Boy, you're busy.
Yeah, he was busy.
Smokes.
Well, what stood out to Patty's friends about Terry was his excessive drinking and a bit of an anger management problem. So it was absolutely no secret to anybody who knew him or was friends with Patty that this guy that she'd been, spending time with was a very jealous person. So he was described as having an explosive temper and was quick to act.
Oh, Patty, all kinds of red flags with this guy.
There are red flags.
Lots of very clear red flags. Oh,
and
goodness
but
gracious.
that's not victim blaming.
No,
because nobody sees red flags very well at times, But she was freshly divorced, right?
Yeah.
She's just trying to enjoy her life, and so it left people, to question maybe whether or not his jealousy could have gotten the better of him, since Patty had been seeing other men.
Ooh, yeah. This fits the bill of suspect very much here.
Yeah. Well, when they brought Terry in for questioning, and it was easy, he came in, it was not a problem. He said he had attended an AA meeting the night of the murder and then spent the rest of the evening with a new girlfriend he had begun seeing. So he was seeing other people as well, but a lot of times, those jealous people tend to, tend to be jealous while also doing whatever they want to on the side, right? So when investigators went to confirm his alibi, the only problem was a new girlfriend said he didn't get to her place until 1 or 2 in the morning.
Well, so you've got a window.
He's also got time.
This is a window from the AA meeting to this girlfriend.
Yep.
That's enough time to murder Patty.
So Patty hadn't been alone.
Yep.
There were 2 different brands of cigarettes.
We already know that.
There were multiple beer cans, right? 2 chairs. So we know that it was...
What kind of cigarettes you smoke, bro?
She was spending time with someone, it wasn't just a quick visit, right? Somebody was there sitting down.
Yeah, clearly
right?
it sounds like they had a couple of drinks.
Yeah.
Normal,
right?
little social gathering, couple of beers, whatever.
Yep, absolutely. So there's time. There is plenty of time, especially when he's not showing up until 1 or 2 in the morning. But so when police asked Terry to come in for another interview, he didn't show.
Okay.
He's not part of it. They had on their hands yet another person who had the means, motive, and opportunity. And detectives eventually did, catch up with him, and they caught up with him pretty quickly. And at that point, arrested him for suspicion.
Interesting.
So they hauled him in. And once again, he was adamant that he was innocent and had absolutely nothing to do with Patty's murder. He too passed a polygraph.
Does not mean you're innocent.
Doesn't mean you're innocent. It doesn't mean you're innocent, but it definitely helps.
Certainly, passing is preferable to failing.
Well, yes, yeah. Usually the best one, right?
Yeah.
But with no evidence to hold him.
Yeah, you've got nothing to link him. So you bring him in on the suspicion, and then what? Hope he buckles. Hope he fails even had he failed the polygraph, it doesn't make him arrestable even again.
Right.
You still need a witness, a physical connection, even some circumstantial evidence, and they don't.
Well, they had no evidence to hold him, so he was released.
There you go.
Investigators, at the same time, of course, are canvassing the neighborhood.
That's frustrating.
And the 56-unit apartment complex.
Oh.
So it's a large apartment, like separate buildings, right? Lots of kids around. I believe, possibly lower income, housing complex. So multiple buildings, like I said.
It speaks to a place where there would be a lot of activity.
There's a lot of activity, yeah. And, I mean, just with the sheer number of kids running around and all of that stuff, a lot of people's coming and going, right? So within 2 weeks of Patty's murder, any leads they'd had were almost completely exhausted.
Oh my goodness.
Detectives at this point were less than hopeful, and they even told Patty's mom as such. Quote, "I was told probably a week or two after Patty died, this was going to be a case they didn't solve."
Whoa.
Can you imagine telling a victim's mother?
No, I can't. I would never want to be in that position. And I guess, I don't know is this bad bedside manner? Is it just being too bluntly honest and truthful about a difficult case?
I think is it
not wanting to instill a false sense of hope? I mean, at least you could say, look, this is a really difficult case and we are going to do everything we can to solve it.
But some victims' families have said that that's all they have is hope, right?
And you're not even giving them any.
Yeah, they know that they're not getting her back, but at least, some hope for some justice.
That's why I said you don't have to sugarcoat it.
No.
You can say, look, this is a really challenging case. We are doing everything we can to solve it. Now, that is a very passé kind of political answer.
It is.
But at least it's not like, look,
sorry,
it's been 2 weeks.
This might be one of those we don't solve.
All the leads have dried up. We got detectives working in shifts.
Yeah.
But it's just not going to be enough.
Yeah.
Sorry, lady.
That part bugs me. You can still say that it's a difficult case, but just to say, yeah, you may as well give up all hope because it's probably one of those we're not going to solve. Like,
it's probably going to be a cold case for a long time.
Yeah.
Going to give you a lot of sleepless nights. Boy, I'm sorry to have to tell you that.
Yeah, it just seems like there's no compassion there. Yeah, it seems very cold. But feeling anything but defeated, Patty's mother worked hard to piece together a $10,000 reward for any information, hoping in that it would bring in more leads.
It often does.
Well, per usual, people came out of the woodwork with information. Detectives interviewed over 200 people.
Okay.
Stretching across multiple states.
This is hopeful.
Unfortunately, the leads that came forward weren't anything credible and did not help move the case forward in any way.
Well, and I'm so surprised too when you said there's a 50 plus unit apartment complex and nobody saw anything. There's no suspects from within that complex. Somebody with a history of violence or something.
Very, very, very little to go on. Wow. Yeah. The investigators requested assistance from the FBI in putting together from the behavioral analysis unit and putting together a profile, but even that didn't help.
Wow.
It didn't. I mean, it.
Generally, those are awfully useful.
It offered some information, but not anything to move the case forward.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and it seems detectives were right when they told Patty's mom that this was going to be a case that went unsolved, because for almost 4 years it was.
Oh my goodness.
Find out how it unfolds when we come back.